President Zelensky presented his victory plan. And part of that plan, as your correspondent mentioned, is to get the United States and the U.S. NATO allies who are providing weapons and munitions to Ukraine to lift the restrictions that prevent Ukraine from using those for long-range attacks deep into Russia. What Ukraine wants to do is target military targets deep inside Russia, and it has had some success already, although it's not been able to use long-range missiles. Just yesterday, it used drones to attack a munitions factory that was 900 kilometers inside Russia. And attacks like that wear down the military industrial system of Russia, which is very important part of the strategy. Another part of the victory plan is for the U.S. and the other NATO countries to accept Ukraine into NATO now. That's very controversial. You can see how it would be very helpful for Ukraine, because if you become part of NATO, you get a security guarantee that all other members of NATO will defend you when you are attacked. But NATO countries have held that they don't want to bring in a new member while that member is in a conflict. So while most NATO countries are in favor of Ukraine joining NATO, they would like for Ukraine to wait. But if the NATO countries reversed their position on that, became more accepting of the possibility of having Ukraine join NATO, that would also be a big success for Ukraine. That's why it's part of Zelensky's victory plan. Of course, President Zelensky is watching closely what's going to happen here in the United States. As you mentioned, it's possible that if President Trump is elected, that he could stop aid to Ukraine, particularly weapons shipments to Ukraine. We don't know for sure, but that's the big worry inside Ukraine. And then I would also just say that while Biden has been saying he's going to maintain the support for Ukraine, you could imagine that after the election, with a couple months left as president, regardless of who is going to become president next, maybe he augments the support for Ukraine. Maybe he lifts those restrictions on using long-term weapons, because Ukraine's success is an important part of President Biden's legacy, and I expect he will increase the support in those last few months of his presidency.